We are here on winter solstice. I think the
just
solstice,
a few hours past official solstice.
The solstice just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it always marks for us the holiday season. And I know people celebrate different things. So happy, merry, joyful season of light to all of you.
We can all celebrate the light, right?
Yes, yes. So, wow, there's a lot to celebrate. And this is an intense time and an intense time of year for many people as well. So we want to kind of cover things and talk about what you want to talk about. Please feel free to say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you're watching us from. We'd love to say hello. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to tell us how you navigate the season, or what your favorite things are about the season, or even what's difficult for you about the season, let's talk about all of that.
All right.
So let's talk a little bit about the winter solstice, where we've had the longest night of the year, the longest night, and now we're heading towards the light,
the rebirth of the coming day. So tomorrow it'll be a little bit longer a day than it was today, and the day after that it'll be a little bit longer as we head into a new season of light. So it's a moment to really think about our relationship to the sun, and the way in which the earth dances with the sun and the way that it does. And it's most evident here at the solstices and, of course, the equinoxes. And so it's a wonderful time to mark the year. But it is a difficult time for people who are dealing with many of the stresses of the holiday, and, having to come together with people that are family but may not always be people they agree with. It's also a time when people acutely feel the loss of loved ones during the year as the celebrations for the holidays kind of ramp up. And we do have some questions that people have sent in, and we're going to be answering those about these kinds of issues. And do you want to get started with that now, or do you have something you'd like to talk a little bit about first?
I want to say hi to everybody who's saying hi to us. Catherine is here from Rhode Island. Hi, Catherine.
Wonderful.
And Athena is here. Hey, Athena. And Maria is here. And Michelle and Rye is here. Hi, Rye.
Oh, it's so nice to see all you.
So great. Here. So great to have you here. And we're also going to talk about kind of what's new. And hey, Katie is here. And we're going to talk about what's happening in 2024 and some of the things we're excited about. I always think of the solstice as that time where something is ending, where we're moving into sort of that deepening of ourselves. And, it's an internal time. And I think our culture, of course, makes it an external time. And so for me, I kind of slow down at this time. But I feel the push of it externally. So that for me is the thing that I'm always navigating. But I like to kind of reflect on where I've been and what's happened in the course of the year, and then kind of move into focusing from that reflection into how I'd like to shape the coming year. So that's sort of what I try to do at this time of year. How about you?
When you look back on the year, what would you say is some of the most important thing, one of the most important things, or two or three of the most important things for you to reflect on?
Personally?
Or collectively?
Oh, well, I think that just in the bigger picture, we're dealing with such turmoil and upset, and we have been, as a collective for a while. And I think that, the wars have been both in Israel, Gaza, and in the Ukraine, and around the world,
Sudan.
So many places where there's unrest have been a lot. It weighs on me for sure. And so in people that I counsel and within myself, I'm focused on how do we, stay steady and try to hold the light, try to hold a balance. How do we continue to find joy while also holding, this holding compassion for everyone who is struggling? And I've been thinking a lot about that just on a personal level, for the people that I love who I know are struggling, for the people that I love who've lost loved ones, and then bringing that out further to everyone who's struggling and everyone who's grieving and or who is alone, and just trying to hold a compassion in that larger field, knowing that there's struggle and there's suffering. So that's one of the things. How about you?
For me, in terms of the reflection, I think that that idea of holding light in the time of darkness is really something that we should all try to strive to get to, and to understand our responsibility when we can do that we must do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's always something that I'm focused on, and always trying to become better at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as always, I feel so grateful for the Sacred Stream Center, which is, for those of you that haven't been to the Sacred Stream Center, it's this beautiful old Lutheran church in Berkeley, and it has held the light for over a century. And I feel like it really, for me, it truly is sort of a beacon of, a place where I go to ground and to steady, so that I can, continue doing the work that I do, and teaching and counseling people, and, trying to be a good citizen of the planet. And I think it's important for us all to find that place, a place, perhaps in nature, or another place where you feel that support of the land, you feel the support of the place, and to ground there and root there, and allow that to support you and hold you as you are striving to become the support for others around you. I think those of us that have the good fortune to encounter consciousness really do have a responsibility to try to hold it down as much as we can, and to expand our capacity to hold it. And that can be tough. It can be a challenge, but it can also be something that not only assists those around you, but deepens and broadens your own practice and your own being in the world. And it gives a purpose for being here. And I think one of the biggest challenges with everything happening, in terms of the chaos that's being created by all of the greed and lust for power that you see at the root of all of the wars that are happening, including that really turn into the war on the planet. I really feel like there's so much ecocide going on with all the genocide, that you really do have to determine to be a counterpoint to all of that. And I feel like the more chaos there is, the more time I spend organizing. I do a lot of organizing, like make sure this is in order, and make sure this is in order, and make sure this is in order, because I think that the entropy of chaos is pretty profound, and we need to be alert to it and aware of it all the time.
So when you say you organize, you're organizing externally to organize internally.
Yeah, and organizing internally in order to organize externally.
Yeah. Some more people to say hi to. Christine Tracy's here from Boulder. Hey, Christine. And Jessica Luke. Hey, Jessica. And Ron and Jay are here. And Zoe, maybe. Joanne from Nova Scotia.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. And my buddy John from Sydney. Good morning. Good Friday morning to you. And John has a new puppy dog, who I keep seeing on Facebook. So hi to the new doggy. Yeah. So you have some questions?
Yeah, we have some questions. Annie Lowe, one of our intrepid students and counselors here, a depth hypnosis practitioner and applied shamanic counselor, has sent in some questions that the people that she assists. She works on a reservation in Montana, and she really spends a lot of time on the front lines helping people this time of year. And Indigenous people. She does amazing work, and she has some questions that have come in from her practice. And for those of you, if you have questions too, please do ask them. She said that we were joking around in class. You can always depend on Annie to have the most interesting questions, the most complicated questions. And so I said, so ask questions that aren't too complicated. For if you want to ask a question of your own that's not too complicated, please do. And she of course she asked a question, and I want to take her question first because I think it's sort of within the theme of what we're talking about. And she's asking, how do I best utilize the transformative energy of this time of year to support my own personal growth? And I think that's a really wonderful question. And we've kind of been talking about that, right? How would you say we've already answered that question?
I'm going to pass to you.
Well, the transformative energy of this time is, of course, the movement from darkness into light, right? And we've been talking about holding down the light, like no matter how dark it is, that looking for the light in the heart of darkness. And, of course, metaphorically, we're talking, right? But looking for another way to say that is to look for the highest expression of consciousness and awareness, no matter what kinds of expressions of negativity might be happening around us, right? So using that moment of the movement into the light as that movement begins to resurge, as the days become longer, is to use that energy of the day to kind of sort of help you rise, like the way a wave would help you rise in the sea. Just feel that light helping you rise and to meet the challenges of all of the all of the things we've been talking about, the chaos, the darkness, the entropy, and to use that moment of light to buoy you, to carry you on.
And I'm going to piggyback a question comment that Katie asks, and she says what the best way is to hold the light in times of darkness. And she says, can it be as simple as avoiding succumbing to the negativity of the darkness around you? And I would say that's a big success.
Yeah.
And I think that is the challenge. That is always the challenge at any time, like to not succumb and to like just find that moment of, to seek that moment of balance within yourself and hold there and avoid the slide.
I have two thoughts here. I was listening to the Dalai Lama the other night, and he said something so simple. He was talking about higher consciousness. He was talking about the clear light, and this vibratory field of higher awareness, and he said, there's no need to even think about adventitious energies because they simply can't exist there. I was like, oh, okay,
that's nice.
All right, all we have to do is hang in the clear light, and we are clear, right? Quite literally, of any kind of energy that would try to make things complicated. It's just like you just hold at a high enough vibratory rate, and the less that or the more opportunistic energies can't enter in. So I think that's a really good strategy. Well, the Dalai Lama advises it. I will go and try it.
Oh, before we go further, and before I forget, because I will forget, did Cody say he could make that available in the store? Did we hear back from him?
Let me see. Let me see.
Well, I'm going to put it out there, and it'll eventually be available for free in the store if it's not yet.
It's done.
Oh,
yes,
Cody
done.
is our rock star.
Of course.
The rock star. So anyway, it's the holidays. And one of the things that, and we can talk more about this later because there's some kind of big project that's involved with this, but I've been returning to music this year, which has been a real beautiful thing for me. And we have some projects coming up in 2024, but I made a song, I wrote a song, and it was on a holiday album with some folks like Michael McDonald and Otmar Liebert and Craig Jaquiso. And the song is called It's Christmas Baby. And I would just like to give that away. So Cody will pop the link in the chat here, and please have it and enjoy it. It was fun. It was a fun project I got to be part of. And we'll say hello to some folks. Let's see. Tessa is here from North Boston. Hello Yoda is here. And I know Hello Yoda, but I don't know offhand. So I apologize for not having your name right at the top of my head. Brangwyn is here. Hi, Brangwyn. So great to have you here. And
it must be chilly where you are, Brangwyn.
In Colorado.
Yeah.
And Megan Lewis is here. Happy Solstice. Brangwyn says, for me, music of the season helps a lot. Yeah, I agree. And Maria says, looking for the light in the heart of darkness. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Benita is here. Hello, Benita.
Wonderful. Hi.
Awesome.
And so the other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of light, Kat Marlowe forwarded me a link that I forwarded to a few people about the story of the female reindeer, which is sort of at the heart of it's one of the roots of the idea of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Not this one. This one? Not that one.
Well,
okay,
sort of.
Okay,
but she was saying that among the in this story, it was if I can find, I was trying not to look down and look for the link. I'm doing things, but I will try to get the link before the end of this program so we can post it. I know we did post it on our social media, so it is there. But there's a series of stories about the indigenous people of the North and their relationship to the light, and in particular the sort of veneration of the of deer and of the reindeer, and that the root of one of the roots of the Rudolph story is that among the peoples of the Arctic Circle, there was this true veneration of the female deers because they were the ones whose horns do not fall off. Their antlers remain all year, and there's many stories of the female deers going to the sun, flying to the sun, and asking the sun for the light that they hold in their antlers, and that they bring back to the earth to keep the earth in light during the dark times. And I just love that image. And there's something, just so marvelous about, the holding light in your antlers. I don't know. There's just, and I was trying to hold light in my antlers. Like, what would that be, to hold light and to have that be the way that the way that we can all kind of hold light in our antlers and for everyone around us. And
we'll be working on that later.
Yeah.
We'll be practicing holding light in our antlers later. John says Rudolphina.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, that's a beautiful image.
It is. So you had some other questions.
More questions. Yeah. Here we go. How do I make it through the holidays when I've lost someone close to me this year? This time of year just makes me think of them, and it feels really hard to get through. So, do you want to answer that, or do you have a thought about that? Or
Well, I mean, I lost someone very close to me this week, dear friend and mentor. And, I think, I think it's difficult, and I think it's really important to take the time that you need to, to be with the loss and to be with the grief. And people grieve differently and have different needs around it. Some people need to be alone. Some people need to be with family or friends. So, I think it's just really about getting clear on what you need and taking the time to really center and listen to what it is that you need, and then do that, And it may change. You may need to be alone for a period, and then you may really need to be with people, and you may really need to, have some lighthearted time. But it shifts, and I think the main thing is being able to be present with the shifting and not meeting the expectations of other people around that. So, my heart goes out to everyone who's grieving or has lost someone, especially recently.
I teach a class called Grief and Loss, and it's available on demand. I decided I used to teach it every time I would teach it, as a hybrid live class. It wouldn't get that many students, and I'm like, I can't understand. This is such an important class, And I think one day Cody said to me, he said, Isa, the name of it is Grief and Loss. But it is a class that, I mean, it is.
But when you need it,
you need it.
That title,
right?
It's right there. Yeah.
And so it's in the on-demand section of the classes now. And there's a meditation in that class that I think would be helpful to just bring forward here, which is to spend time thinking about everything that you appreciate about the person who you've lost, and to spend time remembering all of their qualities and all of the connections that you have, and really just spend time with that. And then as you come out of that meditation, recognizing that all of that connection and all of that knowing hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there. And I think that's an important thing to keep coming back to. That things may change on the surface of things, but at the heart of your connection to someone that you have lost lies everything that was already there, and you still have it. It hasn't gone anywhere. So there's a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to say hi to Darlene, who's here. And Rai points out that the kata above your head looks like antlers.
Oh, it does. It does. You're good. Oh, yes.
I'm going to try and center it more. How do I center you? Can you move over?
Which way?
I think that way. No, you're moving. No, move closer.
The other way.
Sorry, you guys. I would like her to be centered. There you go.
Oh,
You've got your antlers.
I have antlers. Thank you.
Simple pleasures. Simple pleasures. We'll be sitting here looking at this for a long time.
Yes.
Okay.
May everyone have antlers with light. Oh dear.
What else have you got?
Okay. What else have I got?
It's really important to, again, find the lightness, whether it's humor or, just the joy in it all, because there's always the dark, but there's also always the light.
So here's a question about darkness.
Yes.
The amount of darkness this time of year is really hard on my mood. Are there ways in which this much darkness can be helpful? And how do I make it through when I start to feel weighed down by the dark? I think those are two really good questions that have two very different answers. You want to take it?
Leave it with you.
Are there ways in which this much darkness can be helpful? Well, I think that allowing yourself to be with the dark and open to the dark rather than fighting the dark can be a process of discovery. And of course, you do need a grounding. Like, I was speaking before of finding grounding in a place, or finding grounding, if for those of you that have a spiritual practice, in a practice or in a guide or a teacher or a mentor that can hold you as you explore the dark. But I think that one of the issues that people have is that they fight the darkness. Like they're afraid of it, and they can be afraid of it. And I think that if you can make friends with the dark, like sitting, one really good way to make friends with the dark is to sit outside at night in a safe place, and to just be with the night sky. And one of the things that you realize is immediately is that there's a lot of light in the darkness, right? So, or a lot of richness in the darkness. So that's one thought. And then the other question was,
can I
sure,
add just
sure.
The Theodore Roethke poem "In a Dark Time" kind of comes to mind, and the first two lines of that poem are, "In a dark time, the eye begins to see. I meet myself in the deepening shade," and it goes on from there. But it's a beautiful poem, and it's really about that, the going into the dark time and emerging, kind of with new insight and newly born in a way.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love Roethke.
Me too.
Yeah, he wrote all those poems about the greenhouses.
He did.
Yeah, love those.
And the ladies. He did write a lot about the ladies. But we've whatever you like.
So then the other question was, how do I make it through when I start to feel weighed down by the dark? Well, that practice that we talked about. But also one thing you can do is to, we talk about embracing the dark, but you can also embrace the light, right? One thing that I think is a wonderful practice is to really return to candlelight. And, I find myself this time of year lighting candles all over. I light candles. I maintain, 5 or 6 altars every day. So I'm always lighting a lot of candles, but I find myself, digging around for candles that I haven't, lit since this time last year. So I put them on the kitchen table and just really enjoy being with that beautiful light. And so embracing the light in that way, and also, if you're feeling weighed down by the darkness, really think about something. It's easy to say, but hard to remember. To think about something that really makes you happy, and to let yourself engage. If it's going out and buying a beautiful colored ribbon, or or going out and finding some holly berries, or something with a bit of light and bright to it.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to invite everyone who's here to let us know you're here, and let us know where you're watching us from. And also, if you have a question or a comment or a topic you'd like to place you'd like to take the conversation, go ahead and pop that in the chat. Love to hear from you. I think Cody put up the free "It's Christmas Baby" song, and that's fun. And
why don't you tell us a little bit about your coming back to music? Because you got that wonderful song, and then we did some pretty wonderful things with music this year.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on, and I'm very happy to be part of a new organization called Artists for Action. And this is a group that is encouraging people to be part of, taking action on things that are important to you. And there's a specific element of it that's devoted to ending gun violence, and to bringing people together to, to combat is not the right word, but to bring awareness to the situation and to help, get laws passed and to really create safer communities. And my friend Mark Barden from Sandy Hook Promise is part of this. And so we're going to be having concerts around the country with his band, the Promise Band, which is an all-star band. You've got Freddie Ravel from who's Earth, Wind and Fire, Michael Jackson, Jimmy Vivino from the Conan O'Brien show, and it's just an all-star band. And then we just did I was just part of, gratefully part of, and appreciate having been included in this wonderful concert in New York City this past December 7th with Peter Frampton and Sheryl Crow and some really Martha Redbone's fabulous, Rozzy, an young LA artist, and Kevin Bacon was part of it. And so, they all came together to bring awareness to this problem of, gun violence in this country. It's promoting the new film out about Mark Barden called A Father's Promise, which is going to be coming to a theater near you, or it will be streaming. But we're hoping to have these concerts in all major cities, and it will benefit different nonprofit organizations, local nonprofit organizations. So the monies raised will go there, and so we'll have the idea is that there'll be headliners, and we'll all be sitting in with the Promise Band, and it's just a really heart-opening, very useful way to be involved with music, but a heart-opening, project to be part of. So that's a big part of my return to music, just being part of that and helping that get off the ground in any way that I can. So I hope people will, look for that and support that, and we'll find out more about that. We're hoping to have the film premiere here in San Francisco.
Talk about holding light in a time of darkness, right? I mean, what an amazing thing that Mark has done and the Sandy Hook Promise has done. Really, in the depth of their grief
and tragedy,
and really become a force for change for good from that experience. It's such a lesson for all of us, and so wonderful that
in the work of Sandy Hook Promise, they're going into schools and helping kids help each other. They're just doing really good work, and consciousness raising, and and helping bridge gaps, training kids to recognize when another kid is isolated, or they're just really right where what we need. So we can make this change. We can really make our communities safer, and that's what it's about. So, and the other thing that I'm excited about is the podcast. So I got to interview one of my favorite songwriters, just a great American songwriter, Mary Gauthier. So if you haven't heard that podcast, she is so funny and so intelligent. I just encourage you to check that out. It's the latest podcast episode, but I'll be interviewing a bunch of different artists, especially folks involved with Artists for Action. And
you interviewed Mark, right?
Mark Barden for Sandy Hook Promise, and we talked about that. And so I'm where I'm best. I'm in my seat, just kind of having fun and trying to do some good in the world and share. The podcast, I really, when I did the podcast, I don't get paid to do it. And it's a labor of love, and it's not even a labor, but it does require work.
It's a lot of labor.
It's a lot of work. Cody, John,
oh my goodness,
Clem, Sherry, Katie, all participate. But, the people that I interview, I really choose because they're good people, and they have heart, and they have something important to share. So that's really at the heart of the podcast. So if you can check it out, share it, like it, subscribe to it, help us even reach more people. I appreciate that. I really do. Don't know how else to get it out there. So that's what we're doing with the podcast.
That's great.
And hopefully it's inspiring to you all. And I'd love to hear from folks who are listening to the podcast. Like they get a dialogue with folks and hear what you like and hear what's inspiring you. So that's where I'm at with the podcast.
It's always
and I've interviewed you a few times on the podcast. That's
Yes.
always fun.
Not for a long time, right?
Yeah, we're due. We're due for an ISA podcast.
As long as I can wear my antlers, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we've got this antler thing down now. Yeah. What are you excited about in 2024?
I'm excited. Well, one of the big things I'm excited about is one of the things I can think of like 10 of things, but Khensa Rinpoche Thupten Tenzin will be offering a new class at the beginning of the year on the
That's
5
great.
aggregates. We know we're so lucky to have this very erudite teacher working
Buddhist psychology program
working with us in the applied Buddhist psychology program. And I'm also excited about the advanced Buddhist psychology program that we're going to be doing for half of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited that Jimpa will be back, Thupten Jimpa, who will be back in June, and he'll be talking to us about all of his projects that he's doing. He's engaged with another round of translations for the Tibetan Classics series, and we'll be celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the tour, the Compassion Tour, with the monks from the Gaden Shartse. And so he'll be speaking about that. So that's there's a lot happening in the applied Buddhist psychology program this year that I'm excited about. So that's, of course, I'm always a little bit focused on Buddhism. So.
A little bit.
Hey,
I want to say hi to some folks who've let us know they're here. Jenny from Wilmington, North Carolina. I wrote a song called Wilmington. It's about Wilmington, North Carolina. Fatan is here. Hey, Fatan. And Deanne is here from Oregon. Kyle and Bert are here. Bert was here. Bert was here on my birthday. Bert, Katie, and Joanna. I'm a Solstice baby. So on Tuesday was my birthday, and Tuesday morning I woke up and these guys were there. But Bert gave me this beautiful pendant. It's so beautiful, this necklace.
It's lovely. It's really beautiful.
Thanks, Bert.
Hope you're feeling better, Bert.
Yeah. So I digress. Andrew DeGroat's here. Hey, Andrew.
Wonderful, Andrew.
So great to see you. And the Wellness Wednesday podcast is his podcast, so check that out.
And and he says the depth hypnosis book, I can see a little bit of writing on there. That's coming early 2024. Yeah, it's at the copy editor.
That
was the other thing that I wanted to talk about.
That's exciting.
Excited.
Yeah.
It's only taken 20 years to write this book, and it is now going to be published in January.
I have to be honest about the book. I mean, it's a great book, but the depth hypnosis is 20 books. So this is one of a lot. I mean, you can't get it all in one book, but
it hasn't. It's definitely not the same book it was when we started. That's for sure. There's probably been 20 books in between for sure. So anyway, that's coming. So keep an eye out. I promise, and I'll be. We'll
let you know. We'll do a.
And maybe
we'll
I'll
do
be
a live
on the podcast. What do you think?
I think we can make that happen.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we have. Are there no questions coming in on the chat? Right?
No.
Okay. So here's another question. I lost an elder this year, and I don't know who is going to hold our family and our traditions together. I'm not sure how to be with this new reality. That is a big question. That is something that, even in families where there's not, a strict hierarchy or a strict understanding of who's kind of holding the family traditions, if not the whole group tradition. There always is someone who is sort of the glue for the family, and when they die, that is a really big issue that is often not understood as something that needs to be addressed by the whole group. And I think in that case of the whole family, I think it's really important for I think for each person, it's important for them to decide, of course, do I want to continue with these traditions? And if I do, what role do I want to play in the continuance? And I think it's something that does need to be discussed with everyone who is part of the group, and to come to a consensus about how the traditions, or which traditions, maybe not all of the traditions, but are going to be carried forward. And maybe there might be a new set of traditions that might be established as sort of a marking point of the passing of the baton from one generation to the next. And I think it's very important. And in terms of the person who's wondering, what do I do? These would be good steps that you could take and decide. You don't have to be the eldest one to hold the traditions. Anyone in any of the generations of a family can be the one who holds the tradition.
And several people can.
And several people can do that, right? So it's a problem that can be solved. It's not the end of things, for sure. Yeah. So
I just wanted to also ask you all, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, liking, subscribing, giving the thumbs up, that helps us reach more people. It helps our channel grow, and that's a good thing. Sharing any of these things is great. But if you can like and subscribe, that really goes a long way to helping us kind of grow the channel and reach more people. So just a reminder there. And
got another.
And thanks, Cody. Also, thanks, Cody is putting a lot of links in, and I really appreciate him being up late. And well, I guess it's not late, but
Cody's a night owl.
He is a night owl.
He just started his day.
Yeah, he's on the East Coast, so I appreciate him being here doing that.
Yeah, so
thanks,
appreciate
Cody.
you, Cody. Thank you. Another question from Annie's group of people. Mm-hmm. How do I celebrate and enjoy the holidays when there's so much trauma and negativity in my country and around the world? I have a question. I have an answer. Okay. In Buddhism, there is this idea of dedicating merit, and what that means is dedicating the goodness of something. And so in this case, if you're celebrating, like of course, this is a moment to celebrate our lives, the fact that many of us who are able to listen to this live in relative peace. We do need to celebrate that, and we need to dedicate our good fortune to all of those who don't have that possibility of living in peace. And you can't offer that as a gift, that dedication as a gift, if you don't fully celebrate what you have and what your potentials are. And so when you are embracing fully your own celebration and all the things that you have to celebrate, and to look for everything that you have to celebrate, the fact that you have eyesight, the fact that you can walk, the fact that you have water to drink, the fact that there are birds in the air calling to you, that to celebrate that fully and richly and completely, and receive it as deeply as you can, and then dedicate that celebration to all of those who could benefit from it. It's a wonderful way to be able to engage fully in all of the beauty of the world, and include all of those who have a more difficult time accessing or participating in it at the same time, so that there is that multiplication of possibility for everyone. And I think that in this way, the more we enter into gratitude, and the more we dedicate the benefit of that gratitude to all of those around us, the more we're going to be doing what we talked about at the beginning, holding the light in a dark time. Right? Yeah. So there's my thought on that.
Yeah,
I
I,
don't know.
I think that's really important. We have some questions here, and I think that we live in a culture that that tends to turn away. That tends to be focused on the happy, and of course we want to be focused there, but then like cuts off from the difficult, from the things that are going on in the world that are hard to bear. And there's a way, and I think this is a part of what consciousness is. This is what consciousness is. Are you trying to show something in your cup while I'm talking about this serious thing?
Sorry.
Is that what you're trying?
I was just trying to see if I could try it. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. I was listening. Sorry.
Okay. I will show that, but I was like getting to that important point.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I was. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, the ability to hold, to be able to be present with both, to be present with the experience of some, I think Isso's point about gratitude practice, really, really holding that gratitude and being focused. You can be focused in the joy. And the more that you're able to hold joy, and also the awareness that there are things that are painful that are happening too. You don't have to go down that into a hole around it, but you're holding the whole thing, knowing that there's more than just one thing or the other, where you're just not cutting yourself off. I think that's the main point. It's like where you're not cutting off experience, so that joy and gratitude is present in the midst of suffering. And it gets easier to do that. But I think the tendency is to cut off. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to look at that. I want to be focused here. But you can actually hold both. And that is a lot less schizophrenic experience in the long run. But that's just a take. So I'm going to read this question from Christine.
Before you do.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to show people.
Okay, so this is my.
Okay.
I use this cup all year round.
Yes.
But now it's the season, so I can.
There's something in the cup.
There's
Could you drink a little bit? Okay.
Oh, maybe.
Sorry. This is how it is every day in our world.
Look.
It's a snowman. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. That was a good idea to do it that way, because I just poured water all over me.
Yeah, I know. I saw that while I was making a really important
I'm sorry.
point. No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay.
I got
Sorry.
excited
This is how
about
it
my
is.
snowman. Sorry.
Okay. Did everybody see the snowman?
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Christine.
Sorry.
We got distracted.
Okay.
Yeah. The Christmas mug, the Christmas rug, the Christmas mug rocks for sure. Yeah. Okay. So Christine asks, she says she feels like she's having a paradox of existence, moving between great joy when she's with her grandsons or swimming, and then feeling great heartbreak when a loved one is abusive. And she also asks, wait, where did it go? Can you suggest specific strategies to manage and find grounding and balance? Yeah.
Well, one thing that I would say is, if you have a loved one that you are engaged with on a regular basis who's being abusive, one thing you can do is to talk about that, is to confront the abuse. And I don't know what the situation is, but I think that there's always a way to approach someone who's out of balance. And I don't know if you've read my book called Coming to Peace, which is about conflict resolution. There are a lot of tips in there about working not only with, forces that are creating external conflict, but also working with internal conflict. And you may have some internal conflict potentially about this situation. It sounds like you do. 1 minute you're happy, and then 1 minute you're heartbroken. And I think that it would be important to look at those two places within you and see what the relationship between those two places are, and see what each part of you needs in this situation in order to resolve that split or that conflict. And that's going to help you know how to speak with the person or act or take some kind of remedial action in order to stop the exposure to the abuse.
Yeah. And suggestions on grounding and finding balance.
Well, again, finding a place where you feel safe and, maybe in nature, and really, spending some time there, breathing deeply with the plants or the rocks around in that place. Also, I really recommend developing a simple breath meditation practice. And we do have a free meditation on our website. It's called Shamatha meditation. And this is a practice where you focus on your breath and you let go of concerns and just keep focusing on your breath. And that helps you find your way back to your own center. And if you do that regularly, that's going to help you feel more balanced. Just doing a 5-minute breath meditation practice every day will change your life. You will feel more balanced, I promise you.
Yeah. And, this is a good moment to mention this. In January, our semester starts up again, and a really great class that I think is healing and also helps provide internal connection to internal guidance is something called the Shamanic Journey. And Isa teaches that class, and it's a great class, and it can really, really help you gain more insight into what you're seeking to understand, and also find balance and that kind of thing. But I mention that because I think that's just a great all around class. And I say this, but when Isa and I first started the foundation 20 years ago now, we had all these classes that she was creating, and training programs we were putting together. And we said, if we could only do one class, if we could only teach people one class, it would be the Shamanic Journey class, because it offers so much. It's something you can run with. It's something, that's just will last your whole lifetime and be a tool to help you with any problem solving and healing. So I put that out there.
And that class is on demand, but I'll be teaching it actually in person and
in Berkeley.
In Berkeley, and live stream. And so that's a little bit different experience than, both experiences are good.
Yeah.
But I love teaching it live and in person, because there is so much that emerges. But also there's so much that emerges from the on demand. I just got a report from someone who took the class on demand, and the longtime Buddhist practitioner, and they had taken some questions from their Buddhist practice into the Shamanic Journey. Well done. That's where, of course, those of you that know anything about the curriculum here at the Sacred Stream, it's primarily an intersection between Buddhism and shamanism. And they just took right to it, and on their own. I didn't mention anything like that, or I might have, but I didn't emphasize it. And they just had one insight after another emerging out of the questions that they'd had coming out of their Buddhist practice that they hadn't quite been able to get to.
Yeah.
And so, so the journey is wonderful for people new to the spiritual path, but it also is really a wonderful tool for people who have been engaged in inquiry for a long time to use to deepen their understanding.
So I want to say hi to Pedro. Kiko is here.
Oh, Kiko, hi.
And Kat Marlowe's here.
Happy birthday, Kat.
Oh, happy birthday.
Her birthday's coming up next week.
Oh, great.
Happy birthday.
And and Deanne Bass has a question.
Okay.
My dad died last month. Oh. He was a cruel person. I live next to my mom, and instead of being helpful to her, I can't bring myself to talk to her, and I'm kind of living that split way. I try to focus on positive stuff. I have a lot to be thankful for. Any helpful thoughts for this? I wish I never had to see any of my family again. And that is a really painful place to be in. And and I understand there are those situations.
Well, I think that, again, I think that it's important, whether communication is important. So if you find it hard to be with your mother, I can imagine there can be many, I can think of all the reasons why that would be hard. if I can see all the different facets of it. But I think that if you could communicate with her and say, look, I really would like to be able to be there for you. But I'm having a hard time. I'm dealing with the effects of this relationship with this person, and I'm really not able to be there for you in the ways that I might have wanted to be there for you, for all of the reasons of our history. But I do want you to know that I care. And I mean, if you care,
or whatever
if
you
you
want
care,
to
if
know.
you care,
Yeah.
I mean, do you just say say the most positive thing you can say without lying, and just say, wishing you well, or if you can say that. If you can't say that, don't. But let her know where you are, and for whatever, she may be able to receive it, she may be able to accept it, but then you have said it, right? And then you can continue on with your own healing. And I think that's the place where you need to focus. If you're saying, I wish I never had to be with these people again, then it's important to look at all of the places where you are connected to them, and look to see what needs to be done to heal to heal yourself as a result of being in connection with them. And because that healing all of the places where you've been touched in a harmful way by the family system, or the individuals in the system, is the way to be separate from them. And it's a way, and it's a way where you can truly dissolve the karmic bonds between you, just by trying to get away or ignore it or deny it. That you remain in karmic connection with them. And so by embarking on all of the places within you that have been harmed as a result of this connection, will allow you to get to that place where you do not have to be with them again.
And you can do that without being in communication with them, so you don't have to do that, but sometimes it's helpful to give yourself the voice that you need there. So that would be something that you would have to determine for yourself. But there is absolutely no requirement. I mean, there's external expectations and cultural overlay, but absolutely no requirement that you be in relationship to people, situations that are harmful to you. But what Isa has suggested, and a lot of this, I would recommend reading her book, Coming to Peace, because I think it deals with some of this, kind of a lot of this, so the key is, how do you heal yourself, right? So,
and you come out the other side. Don't worry, you come out the other side.
You do.
Where you can actually have compassion and be in connection, right? From a compassionate place. But that's way down the line. Don't worry.
Not a requirement.
It's not a requirement, and you don't want to try to get there you don't want to short circuit or spiritual bypass anything to get there. That's
right. So probably wrapping up with this last question, Jay asks, what are you hoping Santa will bring you?
Enlightenment.
Oh, I was thinking a car. Our car died. We have no car. It completely died. It's gone. Well, it was old. So it was I don't know that Santa's bringing it, but I'm going to have to go out and hunt one down and invite it home. Okay. So, but I hope that all of you have a really joyful, peaceful, restorative, inspiring time of year, and that this time brings you what you need, really what you need.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's so nice to see so many of you here. So nice to be in circle with you, and it's so nice to be in community with you all year round. So I look forward to another year together, and so happy to be on the path with you and just sharing the world together. So
big thanks to Cody.
Thank you,
and
Cody.
Katie. And Bert, who's sick.
Bert.
Feel better.
Oh, yeah. And John and Wyatt.
Yes, yeah.
And
Sherry.
And Sherry. Everybody who makes the sacred stream happen. So, and all of you make the sacred stream happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we will be back with another live stream. And thanks again for being here. Have a great whatever you do.
Indeed.
Here at the end of the year. Be well. Be well.
And dedicate the merit to the happiness of all beings.
Yeah. Thank you.